Look at you, the Happy Sober Podcast gang. How are you doing? This is Craig Beck from stopdrinkingexpert.com. If you are stumbling across this content because you're searching for stuff online about how much is too much, how do you know if you've got a drinking problem, is it time for me to stop drinking, you have come to the very best place. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like, and add a comment below. All right. But most importantly, go to the website, stopdrinkingexpert.com, sign up for the webinar, and I'll give you a copy of the book, Alcohol Lied to Me, as a free gift. All right. Today is quite a serious one. As you can probably tell by the title. Excuse me. All right. Look, let's just jump into it. Got an email from Kai, who's been a member for a while. It's quite a powerful email, and it's short. So let's just go through it. Hi, Craig. So I'm doing the Stop Drinking Expert course. Second day states, imagine 5 years in time and you haven't stopped drinking. I purchased this course 3 years ago and did not complete it. I've lost everything. My wife, kids, family, home, car, license, job, and I have police charges out for me. I tried to take my life twice last year. I'm not sure why I'm reaching out. That question just hit me massively. Hoping you are well. Regards, Kai. Pretty tough email. Pretty tough situation. First of all, Kai, thank you so much for sending that. And thank you for your bravery and your honesty. Look, before we talk about alcohol, let me just tell you something. Unfortunately, I have experienced losing people to suicide twice in my life. Both times, people I loved, people I cared about. They say it takes 2 years to get over a suicide of someone that you care about, and that's being generous, I think. For 2 years, you're just in hell. You blame yourself. You try to think, why didn't I see it coming? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Maybe I should have, you beat yourself up about it relentlessly for 2 years. And then after about 2 years, you start to make peace with it, but the journey is far from over. And in my experience, what suicide does is it takes all of your misery, all of your pain, and it shares it out with all the people you love. It's just a terrible thing. It's a terrible, awful thing. And it is never, ever the answer. It's never the solution. And I think about the people I've lost, one 10 years ago, one 8 years ago. And I think about how I understand how they felt in that moment. I understand the despair. But I also can see now in hindsight, both their situations were entirely temporary. They were both entirely fixable. And given time and a bit of effort and a bit of compassion and a slight change in direction here and there, I'm pretty sure that both these people that I cared about would have come out the other side of this depression. So I understand how you feel. I understand what you've contemplated in the past. I'm telling you here and now, it is not the answer. It is, I honestly swear, it is not the answer. Please never, ever get to that point where you think other people would prefer you to be dead, or other people's lives would be easier if you and all your troubles would go away somehow. Trust me on this, your kids will not ever thank you for doing this. All right. So please never do it. Always reach out and get help if you're thinking about doing it. All right. So you're right. Day 2 in the course, I talk about getting clear and getting leverage on the situation. And I explained to you that the only way you beat this drug is with 100% passion and commitment. By using everything I give you, every tool in the box, every weapon in the arsenal, that's how you beat the evil clown. 100% is what wins this game. 99%, I'm not so sure. 98, definitely not. All right. So we start with getting clarity, because us problem drinkers, we're very good at brushing things under the carpet and saying, well, I'll stop when I get, a serious health problem. If the doctor ever says to me, you've got liver cirrhosis, I'll stop then. Or if I'm ever told, you better stop now, or you're going to get something bad, then I'll stop. But at the moment, the doctor gives me a clean bill of health. I'm not missing work. I'm not ending up in drunk tanks. I'm doing all right. I'll stop one day. And we're very wishy-washy about it. So I ask you on day 2 to get clarity. I ask you, what's going to happen? Imagine your life in 5 years' time if you haven't stopped drinking. And of course, your drinking will have got worse, because that is the downward spiral of alcohol addiction. That is the nature of the beast. It is like quicksand. In 5 years' time, you will be deeper into the quicksand. So take your life now, project it forward 5 years. How does it look? And I ask you not to pull punches at this point. I want you to stick the knife in and twist it. I ask you also to get clear about what happens to your life if you do stop drinking. How does it look? What changes? How's your relationship with your wife, with your husband? How do your kids look at you? What's going on with your job? How about your finances? How's your health in 5 years' time if you quit drinking today? And I want you to get super clear of the Y junction in the road that you are now at, because, that's the choice you've got. There are no other choices available to you. Choice A, you continue on the path you're on and disaster happens. Path B, and you change it all. It all turns around. So look, I'm glad you're back doing the course, and I'm glad you're here, getting some leverage on the situation. What I want to say to you at this point is, don't stop. Okay? Because as desperate as your situation sounds, it is reversible to a certain extent. Well, maybe not reversible, but you can significantly improve it. And let me promise you something, Kai. You can go from the depths of despair, where you probably are now, to having an amazing life. Now, it will be a different life, of course, than the one you left behind, because some of the things you've done and some of the things that have been left behind are best left behind. But it is entirely possible to go from rock bottom to the top of the mountain. And I know that because I've done it myself. All right. Not as dramatic as you, by the sounds of it. I never had any police charges. I never had any DUIs. I didn't lose my home, but I came this close. I was probably a few months away from going bankrupt at my lowest point. I was heavily in debt. I'd remortgaged the family home. I'd got personal loans all over the place. I'd got £30,000 on credit cards, and I had a very high-paying job. But even with a very good job, I was only able to make the minimum payments on all my obligations. And then disaster struck and I got fired. I got fired for the first time in my life, and my whole world just came crashing down. It took me 3 months to get a new job. The new job was a 40% pay cut. Couldn't make those payments. The new job was hundreds of miles away from my family. Had to rent a moldy, damp, dirty, disgusting bedsit where I would stay Monday to Friday. And on a Saturday morning, I would drive home for a few hours with my family and then go back and do it all again. I'd switched from drinking wine at this point. I was now buying a bottle of whiskey and taking it home to my bedsit, because my situation was so bleak, so awful. My health was crashing. I was seeing consultants at the hospital. My liver enzymes were all over the place. I felt terrible. I looked terrible. I was a big, fat, sweaty mess. It was awful. And every morning, Kai, I woke up and I looked at the black mold on the ceiling of my bedsit, and I smelt the damp. And the first thing I said to myself every morning was, shit, I'm still alive. Now, I never felt suicidal, but let's just say I took a few more risks at that time in my life because I didn't really care. When I was scuba diving, I'd go a bit deeper. I'd stay down a bit too long. I was just pushing my luck because I kind of hoped that someone else would make the decision for me and take me away from this misery. So I do understand how you feel. And then there was a pivot moment. There was a moment when I said, okay, I've got nothing else to lose. I've lost everything. Everything is gone. Everything that is good is gone. So I might as well just start again. I might as well take a completely different path. And I knew that stopping drinking had to be the first thing I fixed. Because without the clarity and the energy that comes with sobriety, you can't fix anything else. And the same is true for you, Kai. Loads going on in your life there, your relationships, your kids, your family, your home, your driving license, the police situation. You've got loads of problems going on in your life. You've got plates spinning all over the place. But let me tell you for a fact, you cannot fix any of those problems while alcohol is still in your life. Because it will steal your intelligence, it will steal your clarity, and it will steal your energy. And when you've got that much nonsense going on, you need 100% of what God gave you up here. You can't do it with 90, 80, or 70%. You need 100% of your creative thinking to get yourself out of this mess. And if you've got alcohol in your life, I'm here to tell you, you're running on 70%. That means 70% of everything in your life is less than it should be. Everything you get is less. So the thing this is easier to say when things are going well, but when things are going bad, you just have to have that slap yourself around the face moment. You have to say, okay, enough. I'm changing direction. That's the past. I'm leaving it behind. I'm going over here because I've got nothing to lose now. So I'm going to try something completely different. So throw yourself into the course with everything you've got, Kai. Priority number one is getting this poison out of your life. If you can get this poison out of your life, you can start to fix the other stuff. One by one, those other problems can be fixed. How long will it take? Well, how long is a piece of string? But it's not as quick as you'd like it to be, but the process is enjoyable because as you go through sober life, enjoying how it feels and little things are slowly getting better as a side benefit, it's not a problem that it takes time. How long did it take me to get from rock bottom to where I could reasonably confidently say, I'm doing well. I've got money, got relationships, got health, I've got all this, I've got all that. 7 years. It took me 7 years. Now, it's not linear. It's not like, slowly. It comes in dribs and drabs. In the first month, you'll notice benefits. In the first month of sobriety, my blood pressure went from borderline hypertension stage 1, to perfectly normal. I'd been at hypertension stage 1 for about 10 years. I was always this close to being put on medication for it. And every time I went to the doctor would say, well, just lifestyle changes will fix this. And I used to leave the doctors thinking, yeah, that's not going to happen. Lifestyle changes, what? Give up takeaways and wine? I don't think so. So I was always with high blood pressure until I stopped drinking. Then it became perfectly normal. My sleep had always been a disaster. I was always exhausted. It took me about 6 weeks, 8 weeks to get my sleep pattern sorted out. My finances started to improve over a couple of years. First of all, I had to get out of debt, and I did. I'm completely debt-free now. I don't owe anyone anything, not a dollar. No mortgages, no loans, no credit cards, nothing. That took about 3 years. Then I started saving some money. Then I started having little luxuries and indulgences. I got out of a career that was going nowhere. I got out of a country that I didn't enjoy living in. I got into a new relationship and remarried. 7 years. But the point of the story is, I went from rock bottom, where I didn't want to live anymore, to the top. And it is possible, and you can do it too. You just need to get this poison out of your life, Kai, okay? So stick in, do the course, make sure you're sober when you're doing the course. I mean, actually physically sitting down to do it. Give it everything you've got. 100% passion and commitment. That's what wins this race. And thank you so much for the email. And I'm glad you're back giving it another go. All right, listen, if you've got questions, if you want me to talk about anything specifically, then email me, craig@craigbeck.com, or check me out via the website, stopdrinkingexpert.com. Don't forget, we have a webinar today. If you want to stop drinking, this is how you do it. Go there now, register. You get a copy of my book as a free gift just for turning up. Thanks a lot. See you soon.